They pledge allegiance to our flag. They are Americans in their heart, in their minds, in every single way but one, on paper. Often have no idea that they're undocumented until they apply for a job or a driver's license or a college scholarship. Put yourself in their shoes. Imagine you've done everything right your entire life. Studied hard, worked hard, maybe even graduated at the top of your class, only to suddenly face the threat of deportation to a country that you know nothing about.
My name is Andrea Jimenez. I am 18 years old and I am a DACA recipient.
My name is Eduardo Marroquin. I am a DACA recipient and I am a student at UC Merced.
Oh, hi, my name is Arlette Aguilar. I'm a marketing student at SDSU on my senior year.
The main reason my mom decided to come to the United States with me and my brother is because El Salvador was getting really violent and she could tell that we would have better lives here in the United States than over there in El Salvador.
My parents brought me to the United States in December of 2005, and they made the decision to come to the United States from El Salvador after finding a hard time keeping their small business running because the economy was very bad at that time and there was a rise in gang violence, which they wanted to get away from.
I decided to leave Mexico because they were in between jobs. They never had like a stable job, especially because both of them did, like neither of them had an education, and they were just going in between jobs. They didn't really have like a set place, a set income.
I don't remember at what point my parents made the decision to come to the United States. I don't even know if my parents told me that we were coming, but I just remember that one morning they woke me up. It was really early before the sun even came up, and they told me that we were leaving, and we walked a couple houses down to my grandma's house and we went to go say goodbye, and 13 days later we were here in the United States. And I found myself asking my parents, when are we going home? Because I still, at 5 years old, I did not know that this is where we were gonna be for what is now 12 years.
I have been in the United States for 10 years, 12 years. 12 years. I do remember like moving over here. It was very hectic because we moved everything by car, so we would take multiple trips from Tijuana all the way to San Diego back and forth during summer, and it was like really hot and we had to stay in the line and waiting to pass to the US like multiple times a day for like a month, 2 months.
Starting school was really hard for me because I didn't know English, so I got bullied for a little bit. Just because I didn't know anything of English, and so I had to learn alongside people who already did know some English, and so that was just really hard for me to get used to.
There was never like a defining point. I think that I realized that I was undocumented. It was just a part of the way that my reality was, because I don't know, my parents just always told me, or at least I was conscious of the situation that we were in. I realized that we had come from a different country, and just from hearing the conversations that my family had and hearing what my dad would tell me, I just knew that there were some things that I couldn't talk about, like the fact that I didn't have paperwork, or the fact that I was not a U.S. citizen.
I always kind of knew that I was undocumented because I remember I would talk to my cousins and they would go to El Salvador to visit, but then I realized I couldn't go. So I kind of always knew. I was never really like blind to it, but I just kind of acknowledged it and accepted it, I guess.
I knew I was undocumented the moment that I was brought into the U.S. My parents were very, very honest with us. They didn't let us stay in this little bubble of like not knowing anything and being ignorant. We knew as soon as we got here, that we were moving to better ourselves, to better our lives, to give us an opportunity to get a degree, get a good job, because we knew that that wasn't going to be able to happen in Mexico.
If you're in this country illegally, you need to be deported. DACA recipients have been blessed to be in this country. They can take the skill sets they have, go to their home countries, and come legally.
Well, my position is I'm not responsible for their parents' decision to bring them here. I want every single dreamer deported.
I can't really remember the first time that I heard that DACA was a thing, but I remember my mom telling me, like you qualify for this, you can get this. And at the time I was, that was passed in 2012, so I was 12 years old.
First time I heard about DACA, I remember it was a morning, my uncle gave my mom a call saying that in the radio here that it would benefit people who came from our countries. There was a program that would benefit people who came from our countries, and it would give them some type of legal protection. I got really excited because I thought it was kind of like citizenship or residency. I wasn't really sure what it was going to be, but I was just happy that something was coming along.
First time I heard about DACA, I was a junior or senior in high school, and I was pretty skeptical about the whole thing because I felt like they would use our information against us. But after learning about it through in the internet and the news and stuff, I realized that it was something that was good for us, and I applied as soon as I could. Yeah, I feel like DACA could be improved in many ways. For one thing, making it expanding the deadlines that they have, or because I know that you can only apply after you turn 15 or a certain age, or if you were brought in by a certain age. So I feel like expanding those barriers would be very helpful, because there's a lot of students and people that I know that just because they came a year after me or they're a certain age, they're not able to get a DACA. And I feel like it's very important for people to get DACA, especially if they're undocumented and are fighting to get an education and a job. I feel like it could also be improved with having a plan, not just giving us a social security number for 2 years or 3 years, but making it a roadmap towards citizenship, at least for the people who don't have anything any crimes or anything like that on their record, that have a sparkly clean record. I feel like they deserve the right to eventually become a citizen.
Definitely giving us an actual pathway to either residency or citizenship. That would be that's the very first priority that I see. Just because with DACA you can't really go anywhere. You have DACA and that's about it. You can't really take it anywhere. You can't become a resident, you can't become a citizen. Other ways could be by maybe expanding the limits on who it encompasses. So instead of maybe youth, also our parents. If we're DACA, then that means that our parents are most likely immigrants who need some type of protection too. Because at the moment, my mother has no protection. She's an immigrant too, so she's susceptible to whatever happens.